this is the hospital for the poor people, but we also take care of the rich people.
That was the most painful thing I ever experienced.
In a country of over 1 billion people, a unique experiment in healthcare. Bangalore, India's third largest city, is the birthplace of a hospital unlike any other. In 2012, Al Jazeera brought you the story of Narayana Rudalaya, an Indian hospital that aimed to give the best possible treatment to the rich and poor alike. We've returned to India after 2 years to revisit the doctors and patients we'd met at Narayana and see how their lives and stories have evolved. Rajesh Wadi. The 16-year-old's bright smile lights up a home and a community. It's a smile that almost didn't exist. When we first met 2 years ago, Rajesh Wadi had not eaten a proper meal in 14 years. An untreated ear infection had locked her jaw when she was 6 months old. It had stunted her growth and left her disfigured and depressed. So her family had brought her to Narayana.
As of now, what I see is she's not able to open her mouth. Madam, full force. You can see the amount of force she's generating there. It's all the muscles are stretched, but it's almost nil. There is maybe 1 millimeter of gap between both the teeth. That's all. Okay, let us pray to God.
Dr. Rolson Sandeep reconstructed her jaw, and for the first time in 14 years, Rajesh Wadi was able to open her mouth.
I'm asking her that she had that slant sort of a face, which was a deformity, but how is it now? So she's telling that it's not there anymore. Fantastic.
Currently, they are out.
Really?
ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ನನಗೆ ಬಾತ್ರ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಎಲ್ಲಕ್ಕೂ ಆಸೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ನನಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲಕ್ಕೂ ಬದುಕಿದ್ರು
ಈಗ ಹೋಗ್ತಾಳೆ ಈಗ ಹೋಗ್ತೀವಿ ಗೊತ್ತುಳ್ಳೆ ಎಲ್ಲರ ಮನೆಗೆ now she is ready to go to her relatives house and attend the functions.
ನಮ್ಮ ಸರ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅವಾಗಿನಕಿನ ಈಗೆಲ್ಲ ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ ನೀನು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಈಗ ಅವಾಗಿನ ಎಲ್ಲರ ಜೊತೆನೇ ಹೋಗ್ತೀನಿ ನನಗೆ ಅವಾಗ ನಂಗೆ ಯಾರು ಏನು ಅನ್ನಂಗಿಲ್ಲ ಎಲ್ಲ ಊರಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಹೋಗ್ತೀನಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಜನರ ಜೊತೆನೇ ಬೆರಿತೀನಿ.
The surgery has not only changed Rajesh Wadi's face, but also her personality. She started to do well at school, getting top grades, and sometimes even helping teach her classmates.
Cash account data to capital account, Nalation being business commands business with cash.
Outside the classroom, Rajesh Wadi has also flourished. She's a star player on her school's ring ball team, which now competes at the state level.
ನಾನು ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಸರಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಒಂದೆರಡು ಸರಿ ಬಂದಾಗ ನಾನೇ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಬಂದಾಗ ನಿನ್ನಿಂದ ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ನೀನು ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ನೀನು ಎಲಿಜಿಬಲ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ನೀನು ಓಡಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ತುಂಬ, ಅದು ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ನಿನ್ನಿಂದ ಸಾಧ್ಯನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೂ ಸರ್ ಐ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಡೂ ಇಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. ಸೊ ಅದು ಮಾಡೇ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ನಾನು ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಸರ್, ಒಂದು ಸಲ ನೋಡಿ ಅಂತೇಳಿ. ಒಂದು 2-3 ಸರಿ ನಾನು ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಸರಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೂ ಸಹ ಆ ರಿಂಗ್ ಬಾಲಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾಳೆ. ಸೊ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಬೇಕಂತಾರೆ ಅವ್ರ ಜೊತೆನೇ ಇವಳು ಮಿಂಗಲ್ ಆಗ್ತಾಳೆ. ಸೊ ನಾನೊಂದು ಸಲ ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅವ್ರ ಜೊತೆ, ನಾನು ಆಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಸಲ ಆಡಿದ್ದು ನಾನೇ ನೋಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ನಾನು ಬೇಡ ಅಂದರೂ ಅವಳು ವಾಲಿಬಾಲ್ ಸಹ ಆಡಿದ್ದಾಳೆ. ಇವತ್ತು ಈ ಟುಡೇ ಏನಂತಂದರೆ ನಾವು ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಇನ್ ರಿಂಗ್ ಬಾಲ್ ಇನ್ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು. ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಲೆವೆಲು ಇದೆ ಗೇಮ್ ಇದೆ, ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಷನ್ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ.
A star athlete and a brilliant student, Rajesh Wadi has overcome tremendous odds. But there are some things that even her transformation couldn't change. Rajesh Wadi's family remains desperately poor. In fact, over the last 2 years, the family's finances have gone from bad to worse.
ನಾನು ಒಬ್ಬತ್ತ ದುಡಿಯತ್ರಿ ಮನೆಯಾಗ, ನಾನು ಒಬ್ಬತ್ತು ದುಡಿಯತ್ರಿ. ಇವರು ಬದುಕಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಂಗಿಲ್ರಿ, ಅಡಿಗೆ ಬದುಕಿಲ್ರಿ. ಮತ್ತು ಇದು ವಾರದಾಗ 2 ಬೇರೆ ಬಟ್ಟೆ ಏನಾದ್ರೆ ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಮನೆಗೆ ಇರೋದ್ರಿ. ಊಟದ್ದು ಭಾಳ ತೊಂದರೆ ಇರಲಿ ನನಗೆ.
Rajesh Wadi's father, Murudappa, is a daily wage labourer. When he's working, he makes $2 a day. But he's getting old, and with age come a host of aches and illnesses, which means he can't earn as much as he used to. So Rajesh Wadi's schooling has become a financial burden.
ನಮಗೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಹಚ್ಚಿರೋದು ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ಗೆ ಹಚ್ಚಿರೋದು, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ 10,000 ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ 5,000 ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆಯವ್ರು ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಫೀಸು. ಬಸ್ಸಿಂದ ನಾವು ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಮೊನ್ನೆ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಟೈಲರಿಂಗ್ ರವಿಚಂದ್ರ ರೆಡ್ಡಿ ಅಂತಿದ್ರು ಅವರು.
These are expenses the family can no longer afford. So they want Rajesh Wadi to quit school and get married. Suitors have already started coming to the family home.
ಇನ್ನು ಒಂದಿಬ್ಬರು ಬಂದು ಹೋಗ್ಯಾರ್ರಿ. ಅವ್ರೇನಿನ್ನ ಗಟ್ಟಿ ಆಗಿಲ್ರಿ. ಅವು ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಗಟ್ಟಿ ಆದ್ರೆ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕ್ರಿ.
But Rajesh Wadi doesn't want to get married. She'd much rather complete her education and find work that would help her family and her village.
ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಇಯರ್ ಮುಗಿದ ಡಿಗ್ರಿ ಮಾಡಿ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜರ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ನನಗೆ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜರ್ ಕೆಲಸ ಸಿಕ್ಕ ನಂತರ ನಮ್ಮ ಬಡ ರೈತರಿಗೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೆ ಸಹಾಯ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟಪಡ್ತೀನಿ. ನಮ್ಮ ಗ್ರಾಮವನ್ನು ವೃದ್ಧಿ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಪಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಬಡ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಬಿಡೋ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ರಿಗೆ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಬಿಡಬೇಡ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋಕ್ಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟಪಡ್ತೀನಿ. ನನಗೆ ಅಷ್ಟು ನನಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಜನ ಸಹಾಯ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅದ್ರಂಗೆ ನನಗೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಸಿಕ್ಕ ನಂತರ ನಾನು ಬಡ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಮತ್ತು ಬಡವರಿಗೆ ಸಹಾಯ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ.
Day after day, Rajesh Wadi has the same argument with her family. Her quitting school and getting married is not the answer to their problems. But in rural India, a young girl from a poor home doesn't have much of a voice. Rajesh Wadi knows she needs a more powerful supporter.
ನಮ್ಮ ಮನೇಲೇನು ಆ ಥರ ಏನು ಮದುವೆ ಮಾಡೋಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಒಂದು ವೇಳೆ ಅದೇ ಥರ ಸಂದರ್ಭ ಬಂದ್ರೇ ನಾನು ಸಂದೀಪ್ ಸರಿಗೆ ಫೋನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ, ಈ ಥರ ಇದೆ ಸರ್, ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ, ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿರಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ.
It was completely stressful to me at that time. My father beat me. So that was the most painful thing I ever experienced. Today I am leaving only because of my mom.
No, it's a community issue, isn't it? So it's acceptable. That's all.
Good morning.
And who is the patient?
So who's the patient? That's a good question. Now who's the patient here?
Patient is myself.
Ah, she's the patient, she says. You're the patient, you're sure?
Yes, I am sure.
Oh, good, that's good. Okay.
Look like a patient.
2 years ago, Navya was one of this hospital's most vibrant and optimistic patients. A serious kidney disease had severely impacted her life, but not her spirit. Today, that liveliness has all but disappeared. Illness, financial difficulty, and tensions within the family, especially with her father, have taken their toll.
It's because my mom is working very hard, but she doesn't have any financial support. At that time when I was working, whatever the money I was earning, I used to take the tablets from that. And at that time there was no problem. Even my mother was not able to give that much of money.
When we first met Navya, her kidneys had failed. She needed painful and expensive dialysis 3 times a week, but there was hope. Navya's maternal grandmother had given her one of her kidneys. The transplant had worked, and Navya was doing well. But things were tense at home. The pressures of poverty had driven Navya's father to heavy drinking and all the darkness that comes with it.
I told my grandma that he's drinking daily, he's hitting my mom, and he's fighting in home and with everyone, and I'm not liking this. So when I start complaining about him to his mother, he got angry at that time. When I was sitting outside, he came suddenly and hit on my head once, and again on my he punched on my back from his leg. After this fight with me and my father, only in 2 months my creatinine has gone up. Only in 2 months. He hit me from the back. I think that it might have affected my kidney at that time, but it has shown a late reaction.
मेरे को ऐसा कोई नहीं बोलने का क्या बोलता है ಎದುರು ಮಾತಾಡಬಾರ್ದು ಅಂತ अभी मेरा बेटी ऐसा बोलता है ना क्यों ऐसा बोलने का नहीं.
A father's pride might have come at a heavy cost. Navya's doctors at Narayana say her kidneys have started to perform poorly again, though they're not sure what's caused it.
She did very well for last 2 years. Absolutely, there was no problem. Since last 3 months, she has a small problem in her kidney. Basically, her kidney is not working 100%.
I didn't tell to doctors that my father has hit me from the back. If I come up with that idea in my mind means I'll start hating my father. Okay, you're only ruining my life. You're not ruining yourself, you're ruining mine also. So I don't want that to be happen. So I didn't tell to doctors that, okay, my father had hit me.
After having given one of her kidneys to Navya, her grandmother, Raja Amma, had thought most of the family's problems would disappear.
డాక్టర్ లాపతి చెప్పారు కదా నీ కిడ్నీ బాగుందమ్మా నీ మనవరాలకు సక్సెస్ అవుతుంది అని చెప్పారు ఇప్పుడు వాళ్ళు ఎట్లయితా ఉంది. అదే నాకు ప్రాబ్లం. అనేది ఒకటే నా బుర్రకి అదొకటే. ఏం చేసేకి ఏమన్నా బిడ్డ బతుక్కొని నా కూతురికి నెమ్మదాయ అనేది ఒక ఆశ పెట్టుకొని అనుకుని అది నెరవేరట్లేదు.
Ever the optimist, Navya is hopeful that things will return to normal soon, even as she spends her days in and out of hospital.
I got admitted for biopsy and I'm waiting for the biopsy reports. Once I get the biopsy report, I'll get treatment. Before 2 months, creatine was like 4.8. At that time, I had serious symptoms. But right now, it is good.
She is very positive, and even now she says that nothing is going to happen. No, but the reality is she has a risk of going for dialysis. That's the reality. Maybe small risk, but it is there.
This is an unexpected road trip for craniofacial surgeon Dr. Rolson. It began with a phone call from his former patient, Rajesh Wadi. 2 years ago, he'd transformed her life by rebuilding her lower jaw. Now she needs his help again.
What happened was, when she last called, she told me that there are certain family issues, I feel, and her father mostly is thinking of getting her married now because this is what happens in this country when the girl is, say, about, this is actually, she's now 15 or something. Even before that, they get them married. So I think I should be talking to her father now. And it's just as a social obligation. And I want to visit her, see how she's doing and how her family is doing. And maybe we'll be able to help her in all the ways we can.
Rajesh Wadi has tried hard to convince her family to let her stay in school instead of getting married, but in vain. So she's decided to play her strongest card, Dr. Rolson. He's agreed to travel 600 kilometers across the country to talk to Rajesh Wadi's parents.
I like to be directly in contact with all my cases so that they contact me directly. I am the first-hand contact for them.
In India, it's rare for a high-profile doctor like Rolson Sandip to visit remote villages like Rajesh Wadi's. News of his arrival spreads quickly, and villagers begin to flock to him with all sorts of ailments.
That shows that there is lack of medical facilities in these villages, That's why they came to me to show that they had the small problems. That definitely shows that there is a need for medical facility that our country, our government needs to provide them. It's not enough to have big hospitals in the cities. It's these small places which needs the hospitals. Gone is the time when we expect them to come to the cities and get these surgeries done.
Once Dr. Rolson finished with his new patients, he quickly gets to the real reason he's traveled all this way: keeping Rajesh Wadi in school.
ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾಪ ಅವಳು ಇನ್ನು ಓದಿ ಮಾಡಲಿ, ಅವಳು ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜರ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕಂತಲ್ಲ. ಬಿಕಾಮ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಅವಳಿಗೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು 5 ವರ್ಷ ಇದೆ. ಈಗ 17 ಅಂದರೆ ಒಂದು 23 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಷ್ಟರೊಳಗೆ ನೀವು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಇದು ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬಾರ್ದು, ಅರ್ಜೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅದು ಇದು ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬಾರ್ದು, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ತಡ್ಕೋಬಾರ್ದು. ಮದುವೆಗಿದ್ದು ಮಾಡ್ಸಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಡಿ. ಈಗ ತುಂಬ ಇನ್ನೂ ವಯಸ್ಸಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅವಳಿಗೆ. ಈಗ 18 ತನಕ ನೀವು ಮದುವೆ ಅವಳಿಗೆ ಇದೆ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಬರಲ್ಲ. ನೀವು ಆಮೇಲೆ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಅರ್ಜೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಡಿ. ಅವಳು ಮುಗಿಸ್ಲಿ, ಒಬ್ಬಳಾದ್ರೂ ಮಗಳು ಓದಿ ಮಗ ಹೆಂಗು ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಾ ಮನೇಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ರೆಡಿ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಓಕೆ ದಟ್ಸ್ ಗುಡ್ ಸೊ ನೋ ಪ್ಲಾನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಮ್ಯಾರೇಜ್ ಆಸ್ ಆಫ್ ನೌ ದೇ ರಿಮೇನ್ ಮೋಟಿವೇಟೆಡ್ ಸೊ ಶಿ ಇಸ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಫಾರ್ another 5 years, going to pursue her BCom after she completes her commerce. So then she will become a bank manager. Then let's see. ಸರಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಅಪ್ಪ ಏನೋ ಗಲಾಟೆ ಮಾಡ್ಯಾರ ನಂಗೆ ಫೋನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಹೇಳತ್ತ ಸರಿ ಹೊರಡ್ಲಾ
ಆಮೇಲೆ ಬರೋದಲ್ಲ ಡಾಕ್ಟ್ರ್ ಇವರು
ಸರಿ
ಬಡತನ ಭಾಳ ಐತ್ರಿ ಓದ್ಸಂಗಿಲ್ರಿ ಇವ್ರು ನಮ್ಮ ಬಡತನ ಕಾಮತ್ ನೀರು ಒಳಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತೇ
Rajesh Wadi has come a long way from where she was when we first met her. For 14 years of her life, she'd never had a proper meal. But after her surgery, she excelled at sports and became a top student. She went against her entire family to stay in school, a survivor and a fighter. But there are some fights that are still too big for young Rajesh Wadi. This becomes clear when she visits the village temple to show her gratitude.
ये अंदर क्यों नहीं जा रहे बाबू?
यहाँ तक आओ, यहाँ तक अंदर नहीं जा सकते, इस वास्ते यहाँ ठीक है निकालो।
क्यों नहीं जा सकते अंदर?
अंदर कभी सब लोगों को नहीं छोड़ता अंदर।
In rural India, the age-old and illegal caste system is alive and well. Rajesh Wadi's family belongs to one of the lowest castes in the hierarchy. They're forced to live separately from the higher castes and are seen as too impure to get close to the gods to whom they pray. After her kidney transplant 2 years ago, Navya's life had taken a positive turn. She had a good job and was looking at a bright future.
Last 2 years after transplant, I was very happy and I was like a free bird in my home at that time. And after past 6 months, after getting my treatment and everything, creatine was normal. I was going for college, that too only 1 day or 2 days for the college. And I finished my degree and later on I got a job and I was doing a job in MNC company called Tegutech as an associate purchase. And somehow it was going cool, nice.
But it wasn't nice for long. After the incident with her father, her new kidney began to malfunction. Frequent and lengthy hospital trips kept taking her away from her job until it became unsustainable.
Actually, I spoke to my manager that, okay, I want frequent leaves and all. He told only in a year you have only 15 leaves. You have already taken that. For general checkups and all, you have already taken. And for now, I can't give so much of leaves and all. If you have so much problem in your health, so that you can quit your job.
Navya's mother, Leela Wati, is now the only breadwinner in the household, supporting an alcoholic husband and a chronically ill daughter.
ఆవుల పాలు పిండేదే ఒక ఆవుల పాలు పిండేది మెయింటైన్ చేసేది చాలా ప్రాబ్లము. రెండు ఆవుల పాలు పిండి 4 మెంబర్స్ జీవనం చేయాలి చాలా తొందర అదే యోచన చేసి అసలు అయితే లేదు మెయింటైన్ చేసేకి. ఇప్పుడు మా బిడ్డకి బాగైతుంది అనే ఒక ఆశలోనే ఉన్నాను. లాస్ట్ డాక్టరు 90% బాగైతుంది, క్యూర్ అవుతుంది అనే చెప్పినారు. అదే ఒక ఆశలో ఉన్నాను. ముందు ఏమవుతుందో అంత దేవుడు ఇచ్చానే ఇది, దేవుడిని ప్రేయర్ చేసి అని తెలిస్తే ఏం లేనది.
బాడిగింట్లో ఉండేది, వాళ్ళు ఖాళీ చేయండి అంటే ఖాళీ చేయాల ఇల్లు. ఈ పరిస్థితిలో నా కూతురు ఉండేది. ఇంకేమన్నా హెచ్చు తక్కువ మాట్లాడతాయి, అప్ప బీపీ చేస్తే క్రాక్ అయిపోతాడు. ఆ అప్పని సుధారించుకునాలా, వీళ్ళని సుధారించుకునాలా, అంతా నా తలకు, నా కూతురు తలకు పడిపోయింది. ఆ దేవుడు ఎన్నాళ్ళకు కండ్లిడి చూస్తాడా, నా మనసుకి ఎదురుగా నా కూతురు బాగుంటుందా. నా కూతురు బాగా చూస్తానా, నేను అట్లే చచ్చిపోతాను.
Navya's medicine costs around $300 a month. Her mother can only manage 100 by selling milk from her cow. To make up the difference, Leela Wati has started selling off her jewelry and borrowing money.
After biopsy, he has changed from tacrolimus to everolimus. That time the tablets was 10,000. Now it has become 15,000. So that tablet is costing much now. Before that, I had some financial this one. Now I don't have. And even these cows which are there, they'll not give monthly earning at the same level.
After 4 years at Narayana, Dr. Rolson has decided he needs even more good karma in his life. So he's quit his job and joined an NGO where he operates on 3 to 4 facial deformities for free every day.
Maybe it was time for me to explore more, explore the possibilities, explore and see the world.
When Dr. Rolson left Narayana, he took along with him one of his youngest and dearest patients, 1-year-old Dian. Dian was born with a serious facial cleft, a rare deformity. His wealthy and influential parents abandoned him at birth because his mother couldn't bear the sight of him. Now he lives in a government-run orphanage.
They just have dropped that in a hospital. And through the hospital records, I got to know that it's delivered in the same hospital. So then we called the hospital people. And when we pressurized, they told the parents' name, and parents were called to the committee, and we did the home inquiry. And after that, we found out all these things. And because of a mother's condition, we took the baby.
The orphanage brought Dian to Narayana, where Dr. Rolson soon developed a strong emotional bond with him.
I most probably have equal number of photographs with Dhyan as I have with my son. so Dhyan is really special.
Doctors at Narayana had already operated on Dian once, but it didn't work. The bones and muscles in his face were too tender to withstand the surgery.
They did operation for 2 days or something like that, and for 15 days he was in hospital. But it was a failure. From Narayana Hrudayalaya, they have given the letter that up to 2 years we cannot operate on Dhyan.
Dr. Rolson had been away during that surgery. When he returned, he visited Dian at the orphanage.
I reapproached them that I would be happy to take care of Dhyan till all his surgeries are done, because it was more of an emotional bond which we developed. You know, when you see a somebody from the very early childhood and you know the entire story of what happened with Dhyan, where the parents rejected him and in spite of being contacted many times and even being educated that Dhyan can be operated and made all right.
With Dhyan's parents completely out of the picture, the orphanage has agreed to let him have another operation, this time with Dr. Rolson. But they're not sure how it'll go.
If something goes wrong, see, after that, maybe Narayan also come and ask, see, we have told up to 2 years you should not have performed the surgery. And why did you give the permission for them? So it's also a risky part on their part, because we are all not technical persons. We don't know what is good and what is bad in terms of surgery and like when it has to be operated.
Dhyan surgery is one of the most complex surgery a craniofacial surgeon can ever perform, because you are working around the eyeballs, around the optic nerve, around the brain, and it can lead to lot of complications, from minor complications like infections to wound breakdown to anesthesia complications to brain damage to the eye, to the optic nerve, to his smell, the sensation of smell. There are a lot of issues that can happen when we operate on Dhyan. To tell you the fact, I am damn nervous about Dhyan. I am very nervous. I have not come across a single surgeon in this country who has done an extreme case like Dhyan.
In Dhyan's case, Dr. Rolson needs to prepare for what he calls the most difficult surgery of his career, and he needs help. So he's approached India's top craniofacial surgeon, Dr. Krishna Shamarao.
So it's a very complicated surgery, and there are very, very few surgeons in the world who would be performing this kind of surgery. I am fortunately one of them who can do that.
The preparations are exhaustive. For hours, every day, Dr. Rolson studies Dhyan's medical reports, X-rays and CT scans.
I have got a CT scan, done a partial soft tissue reconstruction with it on the skeletal, on the bony thing. So I know a few of the soft tissue structures around, and I have made a small movie out of it. This is the images of him from the side at every millimeter. Okay. So if I see this video every day, I get to know a lot of the anatomy when we operate.
Navya's long-awaited biopsy report has finally arrived. It's not good news. Her body is beginning to reject the new kidney that she got from her grandmother just 2 years ago.
Creatinine has gone up. For that treatment I have come here. After biopsy reports, it shows some rejection in kidney. For that purpose, I am here. They have given some injection called methylprednisolone, 3 dosage. 2 dosage I have completed.
Navya's situation is worsening by the day. She might have to go back on regular dialysis soon. At $20 a session, it's something she simply cannot afford. During our previous visit, Narayana's founder, Dr. Shetty, had spoken of bringing down the cost of dialysis using his economies of scale model.
Currently, we are the largest dialysis providers in the country. We want to scale it up to another 5,000 machines. And we will have a low-cost product of a dialysis for $9 to $10 for the patient.
2 years later, that hasn't happened. In fact, dialysis at Narayana costs $4 more per session than it used to.
Billing of the dialysis, it is coming up, not reducing. Now it has become 1,200 rupees. Before, when I was in before transplant, it was 1,000 rupees. There are so many patients who are suffering. When I see them, okay, we don't want dialysis. We already suffered then, we are left it. Now again, we should not go for dialysis.
But Navya might have to go back on dialysis. Dr. Shetty, meanwhile, has had to go back on his promise to reduce the cost of the procedure. But he still believes delivering cheaper dialysis at Narayana is only a matter of time.
With our rupee getting devalued to the level it is today, it is very hard to control the cost. But now, a lot of indigenization is happening. Our target is to do the dialysis for $10. And we would like to aim to reach that $10 figure within 2 years.
I get all nasty ideas. I was thinking, anyway, we are putting on distractor like this now. We'll put a small ball here so that he can play with his tongue there. See that? Is it? You want to play there? All the joking will get less tomorrow. Okay.
For a month now, Dr. Rolson has been studying Diane's face, its bone structure, muscles, nerves, and skin. He seems to be prepared.
See, this distractor is going to come here, right here. And then these components this can move. Okay. So both of these will move together. So basically these two components has to meet in the center, and then his face will come together. Only problem is that this man should not start distracting himself and pull out everything.
It's time to admit Diane to hospital to prepare for his surgery.
Okay, bye-bye. Go.
Dr. Rolson wants to keep the baby's spirits up, but he knows he also needs to calm his own nerves.
I am nervous. What to do? Tell me. No other way out. I have to go through it.
Diane is taken to the charity hospital, where Dr. Rolson has been operating after leaving Narayana. Here, for the first time in his career, he's not only a surgeon, but also a guardian to his patient. Diane is supposed to have his surgery the next day, but first, he needs to go to be tested to make sure that he's free from any infections.
We got him here so that we can operate him, but the blood picture, when we took the first blood report, it showed that his white counts were abnormal, which was high. It was about 18,000 odd or something. And now the pediatrician wants to get a blood culturing done. So let us see. Clinically, he doesn't have, there is no temperature raise or anything. but somehow there is infection. There are signs of infection.
Back at Narayana, Navya has been dealt a devastating blow. Her body has completely rejected her new kidney. She's back on dialysis, back in the same situation we'd found her 2 years ago.
కిడ్నీలు ఇచ్చిండే వాళ్ళంతా ఎంతో జనానికి బాగా అయింది, బాగుండారు, పెండ్లు చేసుకున్నారు, బిడ్డలు అయ్యిండాయి అంటే అంతా చెప్తారు. నా బిడ్డకి ఆలిట్లయితా ఉంది. నేను ఇచ్చి నాకు పేరు లేకుండా అయిపోయాను, నాకు ప్రయోజనం రాలేదే. నా ప్రాణమే ఊనం చేసుకొని నా బిడ్డ బతుకుని అంటే నేను ఇచ్చిన పేరు లేకుండా అయిపోయినా నా ఫీలింగే నాకు.
Navya's mother, Leelawati, is this family's only breadwinner. Her daughter's dialysis, along with her medications, will double the family's medical bills to over $600 a month. That's 6 times the average monthly household income in India. How much longer can she afford to keep borrowing money? How much more of her jewelry will she have to sell off to keep her daughter alive?
ఎవరు బాధలో ఎంత అని తడుచుకోనేకైతుంది. నాకు మనసు అనేది ఎంత ఇదైపోయింది అని నాకే తెలిసిన ఒకటి చెప్పుకోనేకయ్యాలే. చెప్పుకుంటే నవ్వుతారు.
After 5 days in hospital, Dian is finally infection-free. His surgery can now go ahead as planned.
And I'm happy.
In this surgery, the eyes will be brought close together, the 2 nostrils will be brought close together, the lips will be brought close together. So I would say about 70 to 80% of his deformity would be corrected in stage 1. There will be a finishing surgery after about 4 to 6 months where we make him look nice. And after that, we have to follow up Dhyan as he grows, see what happens to his speech, see what happens to the way he is growing in terms of his face. And our treatment is over only when he is about 16 or 17 years old, when we can say, okay, now you're done, you're ready to face society.
October 2013. It's time for Dhyan's first facial surgery. Dr. Rolson is up early to prepare. At the end of his series of operations, Dr. Rolson expects Dhyan to look like this. This is the beginning of a long road for Dhyan and Dr. Rolson. After the failure of Dhyan's first surgery at Narayana, the doctor is hoping for a better outcome this time. The risks are high. The surgeons need to operate around Dhyan's eyes, his optic nerves, and his brain. Any mistake could be catastrophic. 10 hours into the surgery, the mood in the operating room is tense.
When you move this, you have to loosen this also.
It's a long, painstaking procedure. Dhyan's face has to be broken up and then reassembled piece by piece, like a jigsaw puzzle. With all the surgeries we've witnessed here, we've always found family or friends pacing anxiously in the corridor just outside the operating theatre. For Dhyan, there's no one. The only person who cares for him is inside the operating room and hasn't been able to come out in the last 14 hours. After 22 hours of non-stop surgery, Dion is woken up.
So to keep his head also elevated.
In this operation, doctors have brought his eyes, nostrils and lips closer together. He will have this painful device, known as a distractor, embedded into his face for the next 4 months. Then he'll have his neck surgery. Early March 2014, Dion has had his second surgery. The results are clearly visible. Dr. Rolson will have to watch his facial growth carefully from here on. How Dion's bones and muscles develop will determine what's to be done in the next operation. For now, he's back at the orphanage. A baby in the midst of a transformation, at the end of which he'll have to face society and hope it will accept him.